College basketball is back. We're in our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And everyone is ready as two teams looking to elevate face off at Capital One Arena as the Georgetown Hoyas face the Morgan State Bears. Howdy Hoops fans, Jeremy Huber here with Martin Bahar. Martin, these two teams excited about opening night.
Ed Cooley and the Hoyas coming off of two fantastic exhibition wins over George Washington, over Kentucky. Welcome back former Georgetown assistant Kevin Brodus and the Morgan State Bears.
Let's jump into our players to watch. We start with Morgan State and Walter Peggs Jr.
Walter Peggs Jr. is a D2 transfer from Spring Hill College. What a score at all three levels. From deep, in the paint, the pull-up game. He gives Kevin Brodus a dynamic scoring option in the MEAC.
We switch over to Georgetown, their player to watch, another dynamic scorer, Malik Mack.
Malik Mack, the junior leader of this ball club, a tremendous point guard, preseason All Big East third-team nominee, lives in the paint, crafty lefty scorer, but really facilitates and runs the offense for Ed Cooley's ball club.
With our in-game host here.
And there, Elijah Davis, the guy that Kevin Brodus is really happy with.
Yeah, Elijah Davis, the Division II transfer from Bowie State, has Division I experience from two other schools, really runs the team well for Kevin Brodus.
Other side of the lineup for Georgetown, of course, Ed Cooley's group, a person to keep an eye on, the transfer KJ Lewis.
KJ Lewis averaged 11 points per game last year for a Sweet 16 team at Arizona. He's been phenomenal. At Kentucky last week, 19 points, 8 of 13 from the field. An elite defender in Coach Ed Cooley's mind. 6 steals in the exhibition win against George Washington.
Yeah, bounced back from a tough scoring night that night. Only put up 6 in that game. Shot 2 of 11 from the field, but again, was much better against the Wildcats down in Lexington. Well, thanks for joining us, folks, as Georgetown in their grays, Morgan State in their navies, and we are underway here at Capital One Arena as the Hoyas win the tip.
Georgetown's going to have to be great in transition defense tonight. This Morgan State team averaged 80 points per game last year in the MEAC.
They definitely get up and down, scoring not a problem for the Bears. Alifa Noah in the lane almost loses the pivot foot. Better defense by Morgan, down to 5 in the shot clock. Mackle hoists, it's off the mark, and Peggs with the board. Pass up ahead, there's the transition game. Shot blocked though by Abraham. Mack working through. Alifa Noah does have the outside shot for the big man. Here's Lewis for 3. That does not fall. Mack with the jumper. That's off the mark. Lid on the bucket for the Hoyas so far.
The Hoyas fighting for offensive rebounds, and they're getting good look. You know, Malik Mack can make shots from 3, creative, gets to the paint, to the rim, but has a beautiful mid-range pull-up. We've seen in those 2 exhibition wins already this year. He is much improved after having a great sophomore campaign for Ed Cooley.
Both these teams looking to improve their defense. A little more backcourt pressure by the Hoyas. Here's Peggs, rises and fires and rattles it home.
My goodness. Walter Peggs Jr. to the left, pull up 3. Preseason All-MEAC third-team player. So many points at Spring Hill College. The D2 transfer can really fill it up. Should be an all-league player at the end of the season for Kevin Brodus.
Peggs, a really inspiring story. Was actually a manager at one point at Tennessee Tech before moving over, getting on the team there. Then Spring Hill just kind of went berserk in the scoring realm as the Hoyas can't find a bucket early on.
Well, I love those stories in college athletics. How you become great. There's so many different paths to get there. Walter Peggs Jr. making the most of his college basketball career. Now a grad transfer in Baltimore at Morgan State.
Davis has it blocked by Alifa Noah, who pulls it in. Up ahead, here's Williams one-on-one. He'll try to take it in. Offensive foul on Caleb Williams as Worrell able to draw it.
That's great transition defense. Ed Cooley, hands in the air. He did not think the defender was set. It looked like it was one of those 50-50 calls there. Caleb Williams couldn't believe it either, but you know, you're seeing up and down here. Georgetown really they're going to be known for this incredible perimeter defense, this physicality, this toughness, but we've seen them push the ball in transition very aggressively to start this year.
Pegs again for 3. That's off the mark. But Lual with the save ends up finding Roel, takes it down the lane. Now Peggs puts it up quickly and swishes. 5 quick ones for Walter Peggs Jr.
He's so aggressive and unconscious. When he's open, he's letting it fly. And when he's challenged, he can let it fly too. He's that talented. Kevin Brodus is going to give him some leeway.
Abraham off the mark as Williams tried to keep it alive, but out of bounds. And Georgetown, after having pretty good outputs, as we see Kevin Brodus there, the 7th season as the Morgan State head coach.
45 and 39 in the MEAC, always in the top half of the league. Was an assistant here, won 3 Big East championships as an assistant coach at Georgetown.
Alley-oop attempt, his hand and out of bounds as we look at Ed Cooley, his 3rd season as the Hoya head coach, 9-win improvement last year.
15 and 9 prior to Thomas Sorber's injury. They finished with 18 wins, still doubling up their win total from his first year, doing a great job bringing in talent and toughness with the character.
Here's Lewis, and he swishes it, and a chance for one more at the line.
That was a well-designed play there. They wanted to get KJ Lewis downhill. Malik Mack, your point guard, preseason, all Big East 3rd-team member, takes the curl. KJ Lewis to the rim, the and one. He's so aggressive. Hoya fans are going to love seeing this young man get to the paint.
A few keys in this one, of course, with Morgan State looking to rebound with a purpose, and also their half-court offense for Georgetown. Ed Cooley wants to move that ball and play good transition defense.
Yeah, Ed does not want the ball to stick. After 2 or 3 dribbles, keep the ball moving, keep the ball hot, get your teammates touches. They've done a great job driving and kicking so far in Canada, in the exhibition play, but you're going to see a lot of ball movement from this Georgetown club.
Yes. And we're going to have a hold on Mack. So 2 personal fouls on the Hoyas.
And you'll see Georgetown pressing here, picking up 94 feet, trying to create turnovers in the backcourt against this Morgan State ball club, which has, their 3-headed monster of guards. Alfred Worrell played at Southern Miss, averaged 6 points per game there. Elijah Davis, the D2 transfer from Bowie State from Severn, Maryland. Walter Peggs Jr., who we've talked about plenty already.
There's Lual down the lane, and a blocking foul on Halifa Noah. That will be shots at the line, as Morgan State has been aggressive on the offensive end.
Yeah, you think Halifa Noah, if he got set there and fell backwards, that's probably a charge. He took the bump. It wasn't physical enough to knock him over. He lands on his feet. They call the block, and Lual, who's seemingly out of control on that drive, is now headed to the line for 2.
Lual previously at Frostburg State, also community colleges as well, but they like the way he plays physically. As Kevin Brodus says, he fights to the last drop, but unable to hit the free throws.
Yeah, and Frostburg, a Division III school in Maryland, Western Maryland. That's the portal now, folks. You can get players from all over of all levels to come to the Division I level and contribute. It's all about fit.
There goes Lewis, takes it in, scoop layup, no good. James with the board, goes to the ground, gets it off to Davis. Here's Peggs, another 3, that's off the mark. Rebound though, and put back up and in by James.
Dallas James, the son of longtime NBA player Jerome James, flying in off the transition 3 miss. Someone missed the box out from that weak side for the Hoyas. Great aggression there.
Here's Mack off glass and can't get it to fall, and out of bounds off the Hoyas, as we'll come to immediate timeout as Morgan State has come down from Baltimore and come to play. They have a 4-point lead early on here against the Hoyas here in D.C.
Big East Basketball on ESPN Plus is brought to you by Jeep.
Solid start for Morgan State as they lead the Hoyas 7-3, looking for their first ever win over Georgetown.
It would be a monumental upset if that happened here tonight. As you see, Georgetown 15-0 series history lead, but as we found out, year after year in college basketball, anything can happen. Kevin Brodus has his group off to a fantastic start here tonight at Capital One.
And so far in this one, Walter Peggs Jr., the elite D2 scorer, showing he can get the job done at the D1 level. 5 points, including a three-pointer.
He has an unorthodox game, obviously very aggressive. We can all see that here. 4 shots already through just over 4 minutes. And that makes you hard to guard as an offensive player sometimes. Different type of shot mechanics, off the bounce consistently. He seems like he's one of those guys who'd rather shoot it off the dribble than just catch and shoot.
Down on the post. Here's Harris, one of the 4 returners for the Bears this year. Down the lane goes Worrell and up and in for a layup. And right now, Ed Cooley's defense had showed up well in the first 2 exhibitions, has not been there so far.
Yeah, Coach Cooley's not going to be happy about that one. Straight line drive from the top. Where's the help side defense? Who's jumping the ball into the gaps?
Pass down low and off the mark, ends up off the feet of Morgan State, looking for Vince Iwachukwu.
You know, Alfred Worrell, a DC native, went to Blair High School, goes to Southern Miss, averages 6 points per game. Traditionally, a player like that is going to stay in Conference USA, maybe even up based on the experience and production. Kevin Brodus brings him back, not to the DC area, up to Baltimore though, but closer to home, and he's going to have a very big impact in the MEAC, in my opinion.
You have to think so. You know, a lot of these guys with some higher level experience and very good gets for Kevin Brodus. Here's Lewis. Out to Williams. Of course, he had the big exhibition against GW. Mulready takes it in, and that will fall. Mulready off the bench. Here's Peggs, long 3. That misses everything.
He's pulling it from deep, but you look at Mulready, he had a fantastic performance at George Washington. 4 of 7 from 3, 12 points in the exhibition win. Someone who's gotten better. And what I like about this Georgetown group, your sophomores, your juniors, they've all gotten better. It's the returners. It's not all about the portal, folks. You got to get the portal, but you also got to develop players. And this group looks good so far.
Down to 10 on the shot clock. Mulready open look from 3. That's off the mark. Batted around. Morgan ends up with it.
Got to get back in transition here if you're Georgetown. Load to the ball.
And Peggs will reset him. Here's Rob Lawson out. Another one of the returning players, was a starter last year, coming off the bench in game 1 this year.
And what the basketball junkies will notice is some Princeton. Look at Chukwu. What a block. Princeton-style offense in the half court from Morgan State. Kevin Brodus studying the system from his times here at Georgetown under John Thompson III.
Alvin knocked that one down. Early 6-point lead for Morgan State. Talked to Ed Cooley this week. Said, is there a possibility with the Kentucky exhibition, then the Maryland game, you have to worry about trap game type thing? He didn't think it would be an issue. Early on, his team just hasn't been able to knock down shots. Mulready for 3. That misses everything. Williams. And we're going to have a foul on Morgan State.
What you love as a coach, though, you're shooting it poorly, but Caleb Williams, if you haven't noticed, he's sprinting in there for offensive rebounds. He's trying to make something happen. We've seen it multiple times. Great hustle. Looked like possibly off his own knee there, but he's trying to make something happen. The lid will come off this rim, so how can you create extra baskets, opportunities with hustle plays like offensive rebounds? Williams has that warrior mentality that Ed Cooley loves.
So Williams did make the save, no foul call. Now Williams takes a 3. He will be fouled as Davis bangs into him, and Jeremiah Williams will have 3 shots at the line.
Yeah, those are the plays as a coach, as a defensive mind. They drive you crazy. You foul a 3-point shooter, end of the shot clock, as the buzzer's expiring. You've been getting stops. The Hoyas are 2 of 11 so far. And now Jeremiah Williams, the transfer, played at multiple Division I stops, goes to the line, tries to put some points on the board when the Hoyas have been struggling to put the ball in the basket so far.
Williams, last of Rutgers, but also spent time at Iowa State and at Temple.
Yeah, 81 career games played, right? He didn't get to play at Iowa State, had an injury, but was really good for Rutgers last year. Gives Ed Cooley a veteran presence on and off the ball. You see he's got a nice compact shooting form. He can run your offense. He can be a secondary ball handler. That multi-dimensionalism, that highly skilled player that Ed Cooley loves, steps the line trying to go 3 of 3 here.
We talked to Coach Cooley. He said he is the adult. Don't have to worry about him. He's been through the ringer, but has come out on the other end with a maturity as he makes 2 of 3, and that will end up out of bounds off of Jaden Fort's first into the game, and Morgan State basketball.
Yeah, Ed Cooley loves this redshirt freshman. Jaden Fort was in the program last year as a redshirt. DC area kid, Jackson Reed High School, high-level rebounder, and Ed loves that. He goes and pursues rebounds with 2 hands as the press again creates a turnover here.
Fort pries it loose, and he's going to get a dunk.
Great energy play there from the redshirt freshman. Active hands, sprinting the court. Now you got to sprint back in transition. But I like seeing this press from Georgetown here. Let's create some easy buckets with our pressure.
Ed Cooley thought could go ahead and raise their scoring a little bit. Make some easy buckets in transition with the press. Turn around by Harris. He'll be fouled by Iwuchukwu and will head to the line.
Iwuchukwu played great defense until the moment of the shot. Coach Cooley put both hands high in the air, telling him to stay vertical, don't slap down.
It's Kevin Brodus, of course, the former assistant at Georgetown, part of the Final Four team, and of course, you were on staff with him. What was Coach Brodus like as a coach when you were working with him?
Great coach, always watching film in his office, great recruiter, great with the guys, great relationship guy, great mentor to young people. I was so lucky, you know. I graduated from Vanderbilt. I was a 4-year student manager. I somehow get into Georgetown Graduate School, the Communication, Culture, and Technology program. Shout out Diana Owen. And I became a GA for John Thompson III. My first year in coaching, we go to the Final Four. We win the Big East regular season and the Big East tournament championship. I was on cloud 9. And then my coaching career happened the next 15 years.
Could not, tough to beat when you talk about Georgetown seasons. Only a few better than that one.
And Coach Brodus took Binghamton to the NCAA tournament, 23 wins, the most in school history in his first head coaching opportunity there. Just a great coach and mentor to so many.
Williams thought about the 3. He'll pass it off, knocked away. Alvin Mulready gets it back. Fort's going to have to hoist a 3, partially blocked. It ends up as they're in transition now. Here comes Lawson down the lane. Mulready takes it away.
Great job by Mulready, staying disciplined. Mulready was ready.
Williams, count it.
You see Williams, the veteran experience. He's played in big-time atmospheres. Georgetown needed a boost, someone to come off the bench, create some energy, and he's done that on both ends.
Davis takes it through, and verticality there. They're going to say that's off of the Hoyas, and that's going to take us to a immediate timeout. So Morgan State still has the lead, but the Hoyas are on the march, down by 1. Bears up in D.C. End up on Jimmy Kimmel, my call there. But again, that was a fun game for the Hoyas. And it's funny, Martin, I was talking to Lamont Germany, the radio announcer for Morgan State, as he came in. He said, look, Hughes, no buzzer beaters tonight. I can't take another one.
Well, I'll tell you what, if it's a buzzer beater tonight, that means Morgan State basketball is a pretty good team this year. And I got to tell you, as a friend and as a peer, your call of that Hail Mary was unbelievable. I jumped out of my seats when it happened. Look at that pressure, Iwuchukwu. But it was a great call, very professional, very exciting. You love those moments in college sports.
Hoyas looked like they had some turnovers there, but Morgan State beating to the ball. Here's Iwuchukwu with the block.
Look at him run. Look at him getting a block, running the court like a gazelle. Look at that great transition basketball here.
Fort for 3. That's off the mark. Pegs, they're going to say it's off the Hoyas, and bare ball.
Well, Ed Cooley loves his team's toughness, their rebounding. You see, Iwuchukwu gets the block, sprints, head under the rim. They miss the shot. He goes for the offensive rebound, playing very athletic and aggressive.
Davis loses it, and up ahead. Good job by Pegs to get back. Alley-oop. Smith has his legs taken out from under him. Let's see if this goes to the monitor as Deshaun Harris-Smith still down. And again, a Hoya team that took so many injuries last year.
Scary fall there, the Maryland transfer, as you can see here, good lob. Yeah, it's close. They're probably going to go to the monitor for that. They're signaling to us now. Transition play, Davis sprinting as hard as he can. Could go either way here, quite frankly.
And of course, this doesn't fall under the purview of the challenges, which we'll get into that later. New wrinkle into college basketball this year. But Deshaun Harris-Smith coming across town from Maryland, where he played his first 2 years, and of course had a really good freshman year, all freshman team in the Big Ten.
He had a great freshman year at Maryland. Then last year, lesser role on a Sweet 16 team, comes to Ed Cooley at Georgetown. The Paul VI alum, played for elite coach Glenn Farello there from Woodbridge. So he stays in the DMV, wants a better opportunity for his career. Ed Cooley loves his size, his physicality, his length, athleticism, and toughness. And we've seen his confidence come back. I've been lucky enough to check in on some practices this summer, this fall, watching the exhibition gameplay. He's someone who's going to come into his own under Ed. Ed is really an uplifter. He helps bring the most. He helps elevate the confidence of his players. And this is a young man with the physicality, the size Ed loves on that perimeter for their defense.
Long talk between Pat Driscoll, Greg Evans, and Mike Evans right now after a quick look at the monitor.
They're either talking about what they saw in the review or they're talking about what they should get off the menu from Clyde's after the game at Gallery Place. And it looks like he's going back over as the refs come to us. Common foul, 2 shots here. It didn't look crazy nefarious. You know, Davis is, smaller, sprinting hard. I don't even think he knew Harris-Smith was that close to him. They deemed it a common foul, and here we go. Harris-Smith steps to the line.
And anytime as a Georgetown fan or player or coach, you see one of the players go down, you have to hold your breath after last year. It's an injury-plagued season.
And you talk about this program going from 9 to 18 wins, year 1 to year 2 under Ed Cooley. They were 15-9 with a healthy Thomas Sorber. Now imagine what they could have been in March. A tournament team, 21, 22, 23 wins possibly. That young man, Thomas Sorber, drafted in the lottery by the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's got to recover from a knee injury this year. He won't play. And then Micah Peavy, how good was he under Ed Cooley? From the portal, from TCU, gets drafted by the Pelicans, who are 0-6. And Mulready, again, you see how active and aggressive he is. But Micah Peavy might need to play for those Pelicans pretty soon here based on their start.
And a foul down low as that'll go on James.
The Hoya faithful here love seeing this pressure. 94 feet, 3/4 court, trapping, really giving this Morgan State team some problems. That's their 5th turnover.
Look at the preseason poll. Georgetown picked 6th, which Ed Cooley pretty lengthy on media day, didn't put a lot of stock in. Very emphatically made that clear. Personal foul actually on Peggs, not on James.
You see St. John's there, UConn, Rick Pitino, Danny Hurley. What a job they've done at those 2 stops. Greg McDermott. Now Providence looking to have a bounce-back year under Kim English. They did marvels in the portal themselves. Marquette is Shaka Smart. But when you look at this Georgetown team, the defense, the depth, the confidence offensively, yes, 4-15 so far tonight, but these young men are competing. First game under the lights here at Capital One. I could see them outperforming that 6th prediction.
And jump ball, it will stay with Morgan State on the alternating possession era. Then a little bit of chatting. Neither of these teams backing down as a long discussion.
But how about this sophomore, Kayvon Mulready? Didn't play too much last year in terms of minutes, was in 22 games. He's got 3 steals here tonight already. The sophomore, we talked about player retention, player development. Still of utmost importance to Ed Cooley and his program, his staff. As you see, the 3-quarter court trap. My goodness. Mulready 6'4", KJ Lewis 6'4". That length, that athleticism, that intimidation. As you see, Elijah Davis, he doesn't want to back down either. He plays with a chip on his shoulders.
Double technical foul called on the play. It's Georgetown's number 5.
So we'll be on KJ Lewis and Elijah Davis. And so Morgan State's ball.
I don't like that double technical. It's early in the season. The chip on their shoulder Bears from Baltimore, Morgan State here trying to get a road win, playing well so far. Let's just separate the guys and check it up, right? But now we have 2 technical fouls, which means those go as personal fouls for both of those players as well.
Here you see KJ Lewis spent the end of his high school career at Duncanville. Of course, played for Micah Peavy's father, David, there. And they're kind of hoping he can do something similar to what Peavy did in his time at Georgetown. Here he goes in, and a hard foul by Dallas James. And it'll mean free throws for Lewis as they look to extend the lead.
Harris Smith starting the transition with a steal. KJ Lewis, folks, 11 a game at Arizona, Sweet 16 team last year. Wants a bigger role under Ed Cooley. Just so aggressive, so dynamic in transition, so good defensively. Preseason All-Big East second team guy. And what I want to see from him too is, and it's been noticeable, you look at his stats from the past, 19% from 3. He still attacks with aggression. He lives in the paint. But that form, as you can see from the free throw line, looks smooth. It's clean. He can make free throws. We're going to see him shoot threes at a higher percentage here this year. This group stays in the gym.
Oh, KJ Lewis is a coach's son, but his mother is the coach. Monica Ramirez, formerly a player and coach down at UTEP. So, and again, Ed Cooley said when we talked to him, look, you know, we kind of went to her and said, look, this is what he can be, and she really bought into the kind of vision we had for KJ out of the portal.
Well, and Coach Cooley said at Big East Media Day, he is the best defensive player in America, period. That's how he views this young man.
Worrell tries to get loose and gets one over the big Seal Diouf into the game for the Hoyas.
Worrell's done a nice job putting his head down, getting into the paint, finishing off of good angles, good touch around the rim. 2-point game.
Lewis loses control. He'll fight to get it back. Mulready open 3. That will rattle out. And the Hoyas fight for the basketball, ends up out of bounds.
Lewis lost the ball but gathered and found an open teammate. Besides losing the ball, that's a great pass. Open 3 for Mulready, who's shown he can make that. He's 0 of 3 tonight so far. The Hoyas just need to make a couple of these long-distance shots, right? 1 of 10 so far from 3, but 8 of 10 from the free throw line. They're getting to the line, rewarding themselves. Need to get a lid off this rim, though.
That's one thing that Ed Cooley said, that we're underrated as an outside shooting team because we take good shots. Some teams kind of, it's the volume. The Hoyas looking for the makeable ones as Lawson knocks it down, and we're tied again.
Lawson, the most established returner on this Morgan State team, 7 points per game last year, 78 career games played. He's been with Kevin Brodus every step of the way in his career. How rare is that now? 4 seasons with the same school in college basketball.
And Williams will be fouled on the drive. Let's see if that's on the floor or shots.
He's going to shoot 2 here. Good drive by Williams. And what I love about Caleb Williams is the toughness, the aggression. Local kid from Sidwell, but he's been shooting the ball very well so far in exhibition play, in practice, in Canada. He's somebody who's really taken pride living in the gym, getting better day by day.
Member of a quartet of players from the famed DCAAU program, Team Takeover, Malik Mack, Isaiah Abraham, and Deshaun Harris-Smith. All those guys, Team Takeover kids. And again, that's a relationship kind of rebuilt by Ed Cooley.
Yeah, and relationships are of utmost importance to Ed Cooley and this staff. And as you see, 3 of those guys are transfers. Caleb Williams is the only one who came from high school. But the luxury of having that program in D.C., where Georgetown is, bringing them back home. 10-second violation, the pressure again, creating the 7th Morgan State turnover so far here tonight.
Is turning up the pressure defensively. Last year, they were more of a half-court defensive team. But there we saw Micah Peavy put on a few clinics. Creighton game maybe first and foremost among those.
Unbelievable performance that night. When you talk about KJ Lewis, he saw Micah Peavy establishing himself as an NBA draft pick after being a role player, a very good role player for Jamie Dixon at TCU, wanting to have the same success under Ed Cooley does KJ Lewis.
Malik Mack from distance, off the mark. Worrell trying to find a man down low, but fight for the basketball and put up and in as Oliver finishes it off. Hoyas couldn't get the loose ball. Here comes Mack, draws some contact, and that will be on the floor. So the Hoyas will have it side out.
Yeah, that ball took an awkward bounce. You know, Isaiah Abraham, the UConn transfer, his head was just turned. Got to see the ball there. That loose ball would have gone right to him and been another transition opportunity. As you see, Halafainoa coming back in as Malik Mack steps to the line, 1-1 here.
So Mack at the stripe. And knocks the first one down. Malik Mack, of course, started his career at Harvard last year, averaged 12.9 points per game, and really had that big flourish to the season. The huge game against Washington State, scored 37 on a night where the Hoyas were missing so many players, and he carried them to a win.
It was unbelievable. 8 of 12 from 3 that night. The Harvard transfer, high academic kid. He goes from Harvard to Georgetown. I hope my daughter's listening. Well, I want a high academic student athlete like that in my life.
St. John's College High School in D.C. as Lawson will knock it down for 2. Morgan State not going away.
And Lawson's from the area, Capitol Heights, Maryland, played at NCAA National Christian Academy. Very confident scorer, smaller statue, but he can fill it up.
Mack, another deep 3. That one goes.
That was from NBA distance, but he was open. They tried to slide under the screen. He had time and space. You got to let that one fly.
Speaking of letting it fly, off the mark by Worrell. Hoyas coming in transition. Lewis down the lane, scoops it up, can't get it to go. But he'll have a chance for 2 free throws when we get back to our nation's capital, Georgetown, trying to pull away from Morgan State. They lead by 2. Welcome back, as, of course, there's a difference this year, Martin, where we have challenges have been introduced. Certain set of rules that they can be done under. You have out of bounds, goaltending. Also, you have the is the player inside the restricted circle as well.
Right.
You have to have a timeout. You use a timeout to make the challenge. You lose the timeout if you're unsuccessful. You can get another challenge if your challenge is right. So there's all kinds of different layers to this. Your former coach, is this just something else on the head coach's plate that he needs help from his trusty assistants?
Yeah, you need your assistants to be on top of that. You probably have a coach with a tablet or a laptop near the bench just to keep an eye on things to decide if you're going to challenge or not. But you have to use a timeout first. That's the key caveat to this thing. Use a timeout, then you can challenge. They go to the monitor. Out of bounds at any point during the game, basket interference or goaltending calls, and the fouls on the secondary defender, like you mentioned. So a new time in college basketball. But, you know, these staffs are bigger and bigger, right? So you have a coach who can keep an eye on things with the tablet, with the laptop, make sure it's time to challenge or not.
That's one thing Ed Cooley said. If we're going to put this as part of our game, maybe keeping that user lose it timeout, letting that transfer over as out of bounds. The Hoya pressure forces the turnover, but if we're going to have timeouts be part of this, maybe kind of letting it take that to the second half is a better road.
Absolutely. You know, a lot of coaches, sometimes when they have a big lead, They'll use a timeout to regroup. You might need to stash certain timeouts for later in the game in case things get close. And as you see there, the pressure didn't create a turnover in the full court, but Morgan State was sped up in the half court, throw it out of bounds, and they go back to their 2-3 zone.
Williams down the lane, and what a finish by the DC native.
The Sidwell alum, the lefty, the strength, 6'7", skilled and tough, really thriving under Ed Cooley in year 2 for him.
Burrell off the mark. Lewis 2-on-2. He'll take it in, and he gets it to go.
So good in transition. They call that the Euro step, but we may rebrand that. Maybe get him an NIL deal. The Lewis step, I'm going to call it. So fast and aggressive. Great balance. And the deflection. Deflections are great plays, folks. Listen, if you can deflect the ball with your foot, with your hands as a defender, the ball goes out of bounds. Those are great plays. You didn't create the turnover there, but you disrupt the rhythm of Kevin Brodus and his Morgan State Bears offense.
Lewis now has 9. He's your leading scorer in the contest. Out to Peggs, gets himself open, and that one doesn't fall. It's off of the Hoyas, and will be Morgan State ball, still 20 on the timer.
You know, the coach in me, you just notice little things like from the scouting reports. You could tell Worrell, a righty who loves driving left. He's been driving left all night. Sometimes right-handed shooters love going to their left hand. And then Pegg Jr., he loves shooting off the bounce, doesn't he?
Larson off the mark. And the Hoyas now can take it to double digits with a bucket.
They're turning stops into scores now. Look at that.
And timeout, Kevin Brodus, he's seeing enough. As Georgetown starting to pull away. Now a 10-point lead off a 9-0 run. And Georgetown in a game where at first they couldn't pull away from Morgan State, starting to do it with defense.
Turning defense into offense. They were struggling to score, but they were going to the free throw line and getting easy point after point with the clock stopped, and then executing on offensive now as you see Caleb Williams going left, KJ Lewis, boom, boom, the Euro step, finishing with his left hand, and then Malik Mack. All these plays to their left, 2 lefties and KJ Lewis in transition, in the full court, that aggression, that defense turning into offense, going to be a staple of Ed Cooley and his program this year.
KJ Lewis and Malik Mack, both with all Big East preseason honors. Lewis, a lot of respect there to come in as a transfer and be named second team all Big East. Especially when you talk about a Malik Mack who's been there, looked pretty good, trending upward, only third. So, again, a lot of good players in the Big East. Anytime, any honor in this league is always big.
Well, and KJ Lewis comes from winning. Been to 2 Sweet 16s at Arizona his first 2 years in college. And what Ed Cooley and his staff did by design from the portal, we're recruiting winning.
Yep.
KJ Lewis from Arizona, right? We've got Vinci Wuchukwu, won a Big East at St. John's in league. Deshaun Harris-Smith from Maryland, Sweet 16. Isaiah Abraham from UConn. We know how good they have been. So you go down the list of transfers. Langston Love, who we haven't seen tonight, been at Baylor. They won a national championship in the last 5 years at Baylor. So by design by Ed Cooley and staff. No!
Abraham will be called for the foul on the body. It's funny, our halftime guest, Jason Williford, even he, part of the staff at Virginia when they won a national championship.
Absolutely. Jason Williford comes from winning under Tony Bennett. What an assistant he is, and what a staff at Georgetown. I just love their staff. Jeff Battle was at Wake Forest with the late Skip Prosser. Great assistant coach. Brian Blaney, been with Ed Cooley every step of the way. LaDante Henton, part of the 2,000-point, 1,000-rebound club at Providence. Only 2 players in Providence history have done that, him and Ryan Gomes. So this is a deep staff. Walt Corbin, who I've known for years, being on the East Coast coaching, Princeton and Fairfield during my early coaching days. So a deep staff, a talented staff, and great human beings first and foremost.
Smith, Iwachukwu on the block, as it blocked by James. Triple teamed, couldn't find a way up.
Great swarm defensively by Morgan State there, surrounding him, knowing the ball probably wasn't coming out.
Worrell for three, and Morgan State with a mini run out of the timeout. Here's Harris Smith down the lane, finds a spot and gets it to go.
Great drive, the strong lefty driver. Ed loves getting his players the ball in the elbow, so they can attack. We've seen KJ Lewis there. We've seen the curl from Caleb Williams getting downhill. We've seen Deshaun Harris Smith getting downhill, staying in the paint, staying in attack mode.
Pull up by Lawson. That's off the mark. Knocked out of bounds. They'll say it's off Luol. And it will be Georgetown basketball.
Entering the game for the Bears, number 55, Alvin.
Eight-point lead for the Hoyas as we dwindle down in the opening half.
You see the good zone offense there. Go in and kick it out.
Williams, back iron, no good. Iwachukwu had it, and a foul down low, and then more contact. He and James going after it, and Iwachukwu chatting to the officials. Kevin Brodus said, hey, calm down. Looks down at Ed Cooley.
He's going to go to the line for 2 free throws now. You see Pat Driscoll trying to calm him down a little. Take a deep breath, young man. Both teams are playing hard.
Morgan State's number 3, Lawson, his second.
Again, still, of course, what a story Vince Iwachukwu is. Suffered cardiac arrest.
Unbelievable.
At USC. Came back later that year. It actually happened the year before Bronny James. It happened
Correct.
to him. And the USC training staff basically credited the work that we had to do on Vince being ready when it happened to Bronny.
John Yonamine, who I had the immense pleasure and pride working with when I was an assistant at USC, helped save his life, the athletic trainer at USC, giving this young man a second chance. They used the defibrillator. It's so important to have those on site, any sort of athletic activity for all of us. They saved this young man's life, and he has since transferred to St. John, now here at Georgetown. But he plays with an aggression and a joy, which you love to see. Gets a second chance of life, and God bless that young man.
Nine-point lead for the Hoyas. Alvin harassed by Williams.
Good physicality on the screens, getting over the top. Georgetown doing a great job at that so far here tonight.
Lawson trying to throw it off of Iwachukwu, but he ends up out of bounds. Hoya basketball, we get back from break. Georgetown up by 9 here on opening night in D.C. Welcome back. Time to take a look at our first half highlights in this one, and the Hoyas getting it done with defense, Martin.
They turned their defense into offense, creating turnovers. 9 Morgan State turnovers in the first half, creating Georgetown transition opportunities. But this young man, Alfred Worrell Jr., was tremendous. 10 points in the first half, getting to the rim, making shots. And again, Malik Mack, coast to coast there. Georgetown gets to the line 20 times, makes 16 free throws, but they're 2 of 16 from 3. They only have 1 turnover, which is great basketball. 7 assists, 1 turnover. So they just got to make a couple shots here to open this thing up a little.
On our Jeep halftime report, you talk about the shooting, not what the Hoyas maybe wanted, especially the shooting from the outside, but the numbers at the foul line, they've got there a lot and they've hit their free throws.
16 of 20, 80%, which is elite from the free throw line. 17 fast break points, right? The points off turnovers. You only have 1 turnover yourself, and you force 9, and you get 17 points from it. So you're happy with your offense. You're on track for 84 points, and you're not shooting great from 3, right? Let's see if a couple of these shots early in the half can stretch this thing out a little bit. And if you're Morgan State, you want to stay aggressive, especially offensively. Morgan State's done a nice job attacking the paint off of the bounce, sharing the basketball. They're only 3 of 11 from 3, but they've been fearless themselves. They've been very impressive attacking the rim here tonight.
Same starters out there that began the first half. Morrell Davis, Luol James, and Peggs for Morgan State. Mack, Williams, Lewis, Halifanoa out there for the Hoyas, along with Abraham as Julius. Turnaround has it blocked by James, and a whistle blows. That'll be a foul on James.
Looks like they said James caught the elbow of Halifanoa, who steps to the line looking for his first points here tonight. The highly skilled big man from New Zealand, NBA Academy, very highly recruited player. All of the Blue Bloods wanted this young man when he came out. Redshirted last year after an injury, now in his second year with the program, but first full year of competition ahead. Ed Cooley and staff so excited about him, the skill, the size, and the upside still.
He's got to work on that confidence a little more, and only played in the 6 games last year due to injury, but in better shape this year. And
looks great.
Had a good summer, not only a global jam, but also played internationally for New Zealand. Ed Cooley made a trip across the pond to watch that.
Yeah, you have to make those trips. Keep track of your players when they're in global international play with their respective countries. But then you also had the trip to the Global Jam in Canada, where Georgetown got 4 games this summer against tremendous competition. That Canadian team they played had high major college basketball players all over it.
Boys went 2-2, beat Japan handily, beat Brazil during pool play, and lost the Brazilians in the championship game. Also lost to Canada, as Williams will hoist a 3. That does not fall, but Mack gets the board. Trying to find the cutting Williams. Has to kick it out. Foul line jumper for Mack, and slithers it home.
An untraditional give and go there from the free throw line to the paint, back to the free throw line. But the Hoyas knock it down. Malik Mack is so good in the mid-range. Off the bounce, there you see the rare catch and shoot from the mid-range area in the half-court man-to-man offense.
Morrell has it poked away by Lewis, gets it back, 10 on the timer.
Look at Lewis swarming the basketball.
Luol takes it in on Halifanoa and draws the foul.
That's the second time Luol has been out of control on his drives, but gets bailed out by some contact at the end. Halifanoa was probably half a second late there. Stay vertical. It's very interesting. You see out of control. It looks like the left side of Halifanoa's body as Luol cut across there, and he's going to go to the free throw line for 2 more.
And that won't fall, and I think Ed Cooley at one point pantomimed at his big man. Look, just stay big. Kind of moved around, didn't just kind of stay up and make himself that big 7-foot obstacle.
Well, there's been twice, maybe 3 times tonight I've looked over there, and Coach Cooley has been in his stance, hands completely vertical, telling his big man, make them score over us. Use your length and athleticism wisely. Don't slap down. Stay between the ball and the basket with verticality to avoid these opportunities where they can get easy points at the free throw line.
10-point lead for the Hoyas early here in the second 20 minutes. Season opener for both teams.
Good offense.
Abraham has it blocked. James is there. He'll take a second shot. This one goes.
Great cut initially by Abraham. Gets blocked. Offensive rebound. Put back. Ed Cooley loves this young man's athleticism, his ability to make a shot, his ability to defend multiple positions. He's going to get a great opportunity here at Georgetown.
Abraham, bit of a stone face. Ed Cooley says, I want him to play with some more joy. Just doesn't look like he's having fun sometimes. That's batted away. He might have some fun right here. Abraham one-on-one. He'll take it in and can't get it to go. But a chance for 2 at the line, and a little bit of contact in the back court and some words exchanged back there as KJ Lewis in the middle of that. A little pepper in the Hoyas stew right now.
Great start to the half for Abraham, playing with energy, playing with aggression from Gainesville, Virginia. Another player who went to Paul VI for Glenn Farello. Goes to UConn, transfers back to the area here. I just love his size, the strength, the length, the height, the skill. If he puts it together, he can be one of those special players here at Georgetown. Every player needs to trust the player development program within the coaching staff daily in the gym, all that time you put in the gym, nightly, daily, preparing for games, that's how you get better. Oh, misses both. Look at Halai Fanoa going up here.
Has it blocked by James. Second chance. It's knocked away again.
James has been tough in that post here tonight, blocking multiple shots. Wow.
Davis takes it in and scores over Halai Fanoa.
Davis is good at that. He's the leader of this team, coast to coast with the most type of point guard, able to share it. He takes it all the way himself there. And James, 4 blocks here tonight. The son of Jerome James looking fantastic with his interior defense.
Here's Abraham, three-pointer, and count it.
You see that stroke from 3, the nice form. He missed 2 free throws, shakes it off, ready to shoot the next possession, and knocks down the 3. What potential this young man has.
13-point lead for the Hoyas. Only 3 of 18 from the outside. Here comes the pressure. And able to get away from the issue was Meeks. Lawson, pull up 3, count it, knock it down. As Rob Lawson out of Capitol Heights, Maryland, looking good from the outside. Here's Malik Mack back the other way.
In his 4th year at Morgan State, great pass there.
Williams down the lane, takes the contact and scores.
Caleb Williams, downhill drive, on balance, throws it up there with the left hand. He's very crafty around the rim. He's able to make shots now. Can't wait to see how he continues to expand his game.
That's off the mark, and Halai Fanoa let it go out of bounds, and that'll take us to a media timeout as Georgetown up by 12, 52-40. As the Hoyas looking for a win on opening night. Welcome back to Morgan State, to the Capital One Arena, as Morgan State assistant Austin Freeman is back in the building. Of course, a guy you know very well and just a heck of a player for this Georgetown program.
What a player. Austin Freeman, 1,761 career points here at Georgetown. 8th all-time. Was the All-Met Player of the Year at DeMatha. He and St. John's High School star Chris Wright, who's here, both come in as McDonald's All-Americans to Georgetown, 2007-2008 season as freshmen, winning the Big East regular season championship. I will never forget Austin Freeman as a freshman here in this arena against Louisville. 15 points in the championship clinching game. A defensive struggle was that night. But what a player he was, and a joy to coach, and probably now we know a phenomenal coach himself.
Malik Mack will pick up the foul on Worrell. That's going to be the 3rd on the Bears here in the second half.
But Austin Freeman, great player here at Georgetown. The Hoyas had just gone to the Final Four with Jeff Green, Roy Hibbert, DeJuan Summers, John Wallace. Jeff Green goes to the NBA. Austin's freshman year, he's part of a team with John Wallace, now the executive VP for the Denver Nuggets. DeJuan Summers, Roy Hibbert, Patrick Ewing Jr., Chris Wright comes along, 2 Mickey D's kids in the same class. Now coaching. It was a fun ride, wasn't it?
So we were both in the building for that Louisville game. You were behind the bench. I was basically a row from the top of the building. So
I jumped high enough after DeJuan Summers made that wing 3 that I probably gave you a high five up there.
I was lucky enough to be there for the clincher against Pitt the year before, or basically the one that clinched it for him, and then the Louisville game. So somehow I had some good timing on tickets back in the day, Martin.
Absolutely. Well, listen, you were in the arena for a memorable moment in Georgetown history. Austin Freeman, thank you for being a part of that.
Most definitely. Good to see him back along with Kevin Brodus, 2 big parts of the John Thompson III legacy. Down to 10 on the timer. Here's Meeks. And he will find a way to score through the contact as a big shot for the Bears as the Hoyas were trying to pull away.
You've seen Morgan State find this interesting ability to just slip through the Hoya defenders on the interior, drawing contact here tonight. You see the creativity. Christian Meeks an NJCAA D2 All-American who then went to Missouri St. Louis. Again, the portal. Where can you find value? Kevin Brodus and staff unafraid to travel the entire United States, whatever level, to find the right talent. Meeks has played well tonight. He's been very aggressive. His first bucket there, but finding a way to contribute with his energy, always important.
Third foul on Iwachukwu. Both he and Alifa Noah both with 3 as Abraham knocks down a tough 2.
Speaking of DeJuan Summers, Abraham's form just looks like DeJuan's. My goodness, picture perfect. Great start to the second half. 7 points here. Look at Iwachukwu.
3-on-1. They'll give it off to Williams. Can't get it to go, but a foul on the floor against the Bears.
I just love seeing Iwachukwu. He had the foul last possession. You don't put your head down. You make up for it the next defensive possession in the full court. As you see, using that wingspan. Malik Mack picking it up. Caleb Williams draws the contact, but there was a nudge on that backside on Lewis for this baseline out of bounds opportunity here for Georgetown.
Burrell picked up the foul.
Great high-low.
Turnaround hook in the lane by Caleb Williams.
When I was a coach, I would always check Coach Cooley, whether he was at Fairfield, Providence, now at Georgetown, his baseline out of bounds series. You see right there, they fake the handoff and they immediately go high-low as part of the read from the 5-man inside to Caleb Williams. What a luxury to have. Big physical perimeter players who can post up in addition to making shots. Great offense.
Knocked away. Hoya ball. Nothing there for Mack immediately. Lewis. And the Hoyas will run their offense. Mack lets go a 3. That's back iron, no good. Rebound. Iwachukwu will put it down and have a chance for one more.
You can see exactly why this Georgetown program has been so high on this young man. Elevating to the sky. Look at this. For the rebound, going all the way up, drawing the contact. So you see him using that length, full court pressure defense, creating the steal, using his length and athleticism, offensive rebound, putback, and the foul. Now reward yourself, young man, from the free throw line. Make it a three-point play.
Talking to Ed Kula, asked him during media day, what are the traits you're looking for from your centers? And a lot of it was defense, but he did say you got to make your shots in front of the bucket. Vince does it right there.
He has 4 stocks tonight. What are stocks, folks? It's not just something you invest in. Steals and blocks combined. He's got 3 blocks, 1 steal here, showing great activity level, having a great second half.
Oliver baseline jumper and rattles it home. Morgan trying to keep this one close as Lewis takes it in off glass. Count it, and a chance for one more.
He's a freight train downhill, folks. He is an absolute freight train, but he finishes under control, on bounce. Look, pushes through, elevates, stays in the air. Now another back-to-back possibility for a three-point play for the Hoyas, who are now hitting on all cylinders in this second half. I mean, they had 42 points at halftime. The offense was great. They still haven't made shots from 3, but you can see they're stretching this thing out now with aggression, with toughness.
Lewis somehow rattles it home, and now he has 12. Georgetown's lead out to now 64-45.
Lewis and Mack should be one of the premier backcourts in the great Big East Conference this year. Little thunder and lightning feel between the two of them. Can't wait to watch how this season progresses.
They were the key to the Kentucky win. They and Iwachukwu all had big nights.
Good defense again.
He's taking it away. That's the 12th turnover of the night for Morgan State. Chukwu trying to find a cutter. Good defense by Morgan. Mack down to 3, has to force the 3 up, and good defense by Worrell. As they're going to say that was an air ball. I thought there might have been some contact. There was still 0.3 seconds on the shot clock.
That was great man-to-man defense there. Worrell staying on bounds, staying in Mac's space. Mac was dancing with the basketball, couldn't get separation. And what Worrell does is he forces you into a tough, contested end of a shot clock shot. Nothing downhill, nothing in the paint, where Mac is fantastic.
Mulready and Williams on. It's Jeremiah Williams for the Hoyas. Williams, a guy they expect that same type of defense from that they get from Lewis. And another bucket knocked down by Meeks. And
nice drive again by Meeks there.
They're going to change the call. They're going to say that's Morgan State's basketball. So a little mini run here for Morgan State. They've made their last 3 shots.
You see Kevin Brodus coaching every possession hard. He had a great angle of that. He thought it was a turnover. Pat Driscoll comes from the baseline, reverses the call. And for the Bear fans watching here, hopefully a little mini run brewing here. Down 17, heading into the 12-minute media timeout.
Well, he's had it up to 20. But Morgan State trying to make a push, but they're going to say a foul on Mulready on the reach-in. And that will take us to the media timeout. Hoyas up 64-47. Come on back for more from our nation's capital. Zealand, he is Polynesian, and Julius has found an unexpected home here in our nation's capital. As you could say, Julius is the Hoyas' biggest fan, maybe tallest fan, as a host of the Georgetown football team are Polynesian as well. So he's kind of part of the Poly brotherhood of these guys. And it's everyone loved Jimmy Lynn, of course, longtime Georgetown booster, executive in the tech and media, and of course worked at AOL with Ted Leonsis, owner of the Capitals and Wizards and Capital One Arena. It's a very interesting story that when Julius came for a visit here, no one really knew on the basketball team that how deep they kind of ran when it came to the Polynesian contingent, and they kind of got tipped off, I believe, by Jimmy Lynn, and it was, oh, this is a much different thing than I was expecting here, and it really kind of helped sway Julius into coming, and he's got some great friends on the football team that are cheering him on. I'm sure some of them might be watching right now if they're not here in the building.
It's a great story about the value of going to such a prestigious school like Georgetown. And with all the talk of NIL, young men still want to feel comfortable at the school they go to. They want to feel the sense of community, the sense of love, the sense of support. And to hear that story, you just have to tip your hat to Coach Cooley on staff, but also the Georgetown Brotherhood with the football program, making that young man feel comfortable. Great execution again.
Mulready rattles it home.
We talked about that baseline out of bounds opportunity. Ed Cooley's genius in those situations, dialing up plays, getting Mulready, the improved sophomore, an open look. Beautiful execution there.
You saw the bench with the bombs away, flapping the arms, and a block. Both Ford and Iwachukwu get a piece of that one. Hoyas coming the other way.
You love seeing two athletic big men at the rim. Nice pass.
Fort tries to muscle up, can't hit it as Iwachukwu going for the dunk, couldn't make the catch. And contact and a block on Williams, who can't believe it.
The Georgetown athleticism on full display here. Defensively, steals, blocks, being in the gap, moving in synergy together, and then turning it into transition offense. As you see Morgan State's transition offense here. Lawson drawing the foul. He's having a great night. 12 points per game, back in the DMV, plays with a chip on his shoulder. That's why Coach Brodus loves him. In his 4th year in the program, one of those guys who stuck by his university for a full seasons. You love to see it.
It's knocked down by Oliver from the mid-range. Oliver out of Pasadena, California. Spent time previously at East LA College, and actually was part of the team that was featured on Last Chance U in the 2nd season. Mulready, another 3 from the corner, no good, as Lawson comes down with the board.
Ed Cooley says there was a travel there with Elijah Davis. It sure looked like it. It looked like a Euro step with no finish at the rim after.
Davis
Nice D.
has it blocked by Williams, but Meeks is there to gather Oliver. Baseline jumper doesn't fall, and stepping on the end line is Davis, so it'll be Hoya basketball.
See Davis, the 6'1" point guard, sprinting in there for offensive rebound opportunities, not giving up on the play. They're down 18 right now, but Morgan State, the one thing Kevin Broda said he loves about this team, they're very resilient, they're very together, they have a toughness to them that he loves. So no lead is safe when this team is on the court. Georgetown needs to get to their execution now for these final 9+ minutes.
Williams tried to no-look it, and Ed Cooley telling his senior guard, grad student guard, hey, calm that down.
Telling him to keep it simple, keep it simple. It did look like Iwuchukwu was pushed from behind, got off balance there. No call. Coach Cooley wanted simplicity in the offense, precise passes with certainty to your teammates here as we try to execute this thing out down the stretch.
Terrell trying to back down Williams as he'll come up short on the jumper.
Great pass.
Harris Smith for three, doesn't fall. There's Fort. He'll put it up and under, good.
You see back-to-back rebounds. Jaden Fort, the Jackson Reed alum, sky-high defensive rebound, offensive rebound putback. And you just have to love what you see from this Georgetown front court in terms of energy, athleticism, pursuit of the basketball, resilience. These are great qualities you like to have in your front court players, and deeper than many people probably imagined before watching here tonight. You're talking about Seal Diouf getting time, Jaden Fort, the redshirt freshman, spent the year in the weight room last year practicing, a ton of player development time, looking like they're ready to contribute this year.
Well, a nice pump fake to get himself open, and Fort says no.
Great rim protection there at the end of the drive. You see Worrell going to that left again. Jaden Fort says, no, not here, not tonight, not in my paint. He's been eager to play. You can see it, the way he's exuding energy, playing aggressively. He sat out last year. He's ready to go this year.
Mulready tips it away, and Williams tracks it down, up ahead. Harris Smith stays in bounds. He'll lay it up and in.
Great pass by Jeremiah Williams. You see Harris Smith sprinting the court. He could have been off balance and tried to throw it in. No. Gather on two, take a side dribble, elevate with the left hand on the other side of the rim. Great defense to offense again. A huge theme here tonight.
Davis gets it off to Meeks. He'll put it up on Fort. No good, and tips it in. Give credit. Meeks now has 7 points and 2 hard-fought ones right there.
That was a tough finish over Jaden Fort, who was playing great positional defense.
Harris Smith high off glass, knocked out of bounds, and that will be Georgetown basketball after our media timeout. Hoyas up by 20, trying to close out a win on opening night. At 20, and Martin, one thing Ed Cooley looking to do, raise the talent level. Anytime you get 2 guys drafted in the NBA draft, you're doing something right. Hoy is able to do that. First time since Roy Hibbert and Patrick Ewing Jr. back in 2008.
I was lucky to coach on that 2008 team, Roy Hibbert, Patrick Ewing Jr. But in year 2, to put a team on the court with Thomas Sorber, a lottery pick of the Thunder, Micah Peavy, who came to Georgetown for a new opportunity from TCU, turns into a second-round pick, guaranteed years on his deal with the Pelicans, who started 0-6. So I would say it's Micah Peavy time pretty soon in New Orleans. Let's get that young man on the court. We saw the Warrior mentality, but those 2 young men last year immediately changed the defensive identity and intensity of this Georgetown program.
Olefinoa for 3, doesn't fall, but there's Fort again, and he'll be fouled by James, who can't believe it. That's going to be the 17th foul and some foul shots for Jaden Fort. But, yeah, you've talked about it. One thing that shows is that development angle for the Hoyas, that Micah Peavy, a guy that really was was a role player at TCU. And then a Thomas Sorber who Ed Cooley kind of said, and he told his story that second day of practice, we were like, yeah, this kid might not be coming back next year. He's that good, which they weren't even sure he was that good.
And that's the beauty of accomplishing that in year two if you're Ed Cooley. You can go to KJ Lewis and say, hey, you saw Micah Peavy, your friend, become a draft pick in a bigger role. So you check that box in the portal. Then Thomas Sorber. Thomas Sorber wasn't a top 10 kid in his class, okay? He was a very good high major prospect whose body got right under Ed Cooley. Great defender, high IQ player. He comes in and he thrives, but he wasn't on draft boards before he got to Georgetown like this. Becomes a lottery pick under Ed Cooley and staff. So you tip your hat to this Georgetown staff on developing that talent, another good baseline out of bounds play, but putting guys in situations to be successful so that they can be drafted. One in the tail end of his career and one as a freshman.
Mulready off the mark, but there's Fort to tip it up and in. Excuse me, Fanoa with it.
He went up there, got his right hand on the ball, his third offensive rebound tonight. He's got 7 boards. I love how these young men are pursuing the basketball on both ends to rebound here tonight. So important. Ed Cooley's staff always preaching defense, toughness, rebounding with aggression, authority, pursuit, rip, secure the basketball so we can get out in transition.
Trying to find down low, not there. 2-on-1 for the Hoyas as Mulready takes it in, and Oliver will give up the foul.
The Hoyas get their 10th steal right there. Deshaun Harris-Smith, his second steal. Again, the pass ahead. Not too much dribbling in the full court. Get the ball ahead, put the defense in scramble mode, play unselfish basketball. There's going to be plenty of clips tonight for this staff to show the team tomorrow of the ball having energy, the ball moving ahead, the unselfish play rewarding your teammates.
Get all of ESPN college basketball in one place with the all-new ESPN app. Unlock with the ESPN Unlimited plan or log in with your TV provider. So Hoyas up by 22. Mulready, he's got 5 points. He's 1 of 7 from the outside. He would love to improve on that as he goes 1 of 2 at the strike.
You know, you saw him go 4 of 7 from 3 at GW in the exhibition at a sold-out Smith Center. That place was rocking, and he performed. He's put in a lot of work. I'm telling you, these young guards from Georgetown, the perimeter players, the Caleb Williams, Kayvon Mulready, the guys who stayed, wanted to get better, all look immensely improved.
The wall off the mark as Harris-Smith pulls down the board. Hoyas on the run again.
Look at that.
The way, and DHS gets it to go.
The beauty of the portal, right? Deshaun Harris-Smith looks like a completely different player as Kevin Brodus calls timeout. Going coast to coast, 10 points tonight, 2 steals, really thriving. And it's starting on the defensive end for him, playing with that toughness, that energy, and that length. The Hoyas are rolling, up 25.
Welcome back as Georgetown with the 25-point lead. Your top 10 poll as we head into the season and kind of have it a little bit different than what the Big East poll is.
The Big East, the true basketball conference. St. John's was projected to win the Big East with UConn second. Here in the ESPN NCAA Top 10 preseason poll, UConn predicted 4th with St. John's at 5th. 2 top 5 teams out of the Big East. St. John's preseason player of the year, Zuby Ejiofor. How dynamic is he? They've got a deep backcourt too. UConn, Solo Ball, Alex Caraban, Terrace Reed Jr. returning. 2 elite teams for the Big East this year. Little too much on that kick ahead by Harris-Smith. Coach Cooley telling him, you threw that directly to the cameraman. He had no chance of getting that one. Only the 4th turnover, though, here tonight for Georgetown. And you just know, stay focused here. If you can get to the end of this game with, let's say, 5 or less turnovers, that is elite. Okay, folks? If you have 10 or less turnovers, that's elite. Can they finish this game securing the basketball, keep making great passes, precision, sharing the sugar, keep your turnovers low. They've done great, and it's helped them because they haven't shot great tonight, but they're sharing the game and getting good looks.
Davis to the corner. This is Bumpus. Can't get it to go.
Look at Ford getting on the floor. I love it.
Jump ball possession arrow will keep it with Morgan State. You hear a little rise in the crowd every time Bumpus touches it. He's another DC product. He's got his own cheering section here today.
It's always good to come back home and play. And from Jackson Reed High School, Jaden Ford really looking good here in the second half. I love the aggression he plays. He's hitting the deck. He's pursuing basketball with two hands every time it's up in the air. What a bright future.
Meeks takes it in, and Ford able to make it tough again. Abraham down the lane and can't get it to fall. Here's Lawson. Noah back, so he has to recycle the offense. They'll take it off glass. Meeks there with the board. Fort will block the shot.
His third block of the night. Wow.
Alley-oop, and Abraham there to finish. Abraham now adds on. He's got 9. Hoya's already with 3 in double figures. And Mack, Lewis, and Harris Smith.
Great switching there. You see Lewis getting the steal as a result of the activity on defense.
And he'll slam it home. And the Hoyas will have a win on opening night.
Pushing this thing to 29 here. Relentless defense here from Georgetown. You have to be impressed if you're not just a Georgetown fan, but also in the Big East. These Hoyas are looking pretty darn good tonight. And another three-point shooter fouled the third time here tonight. When I was a coach, that would always lead to an extra set of sprints the next day. We don't foul three-point shooters. Don't send them to the line for easy points.
I think the fans, not fans of that one, they might have seen a kick out on the leg by Lawson trying to draw it. He kind of came down almost like he was doing the splits.
I like this young man Lawson. A lot of attention on the newcomers. Talked about Alfred Ruel or Elijah Davis, Walter Peggs Jr., who's been relatively quiet since a dynamic start to the game, the first 5 points. But this young man, Rob Lawson, listen, Kevin Brodus has 4 guards. You see KJ Lewis with authority. This young man, Rob Lawson, though, from Morgan State in his 4th year, we've said it multiple times, the Bears have 4 really good guards for the MEAC, and so you can play smaller. At times in league play, you might need to go 4 round 1 with 4 perimeter guys, but Lawson has really shined here tonight. An impressive display of aggression, creativity, the ability to make shots. Coach Broda showing him love as he subs him out, playing a great ball game tonight. 15 points, 4 of 7 from the field, 5 of 5 from the line. A very efficient night.
Georgetown moves on to a matchup with Maryland, so they'll stay on their Maryland tour. They'll be on the road. Should be a fun one.
You have to love that these two teams are playing. Georgetown, Maryland, the 2 premier teams in the DMV, head-to-head.
And an offensive foul on Lewis. Let's see, threw the hand out. Davis took the contact. And that'll take us to a timeout. Georgetown up big here on opening night.
Fans and friends, we'd love to see you right back here.
Big lead for the Hoyas, and we talked about the Maryland game. Here's your upcoming schedule for the Hoyas. Ed Coley talked about improving the schedule as they think they're a tournament team this year. Of course, you got the game against Clemson, a couple weeks here at Capital One Arena. You got the multi-team event down in Florida. Of course, Dayton's down there, Miami's down there, a great BYU team's down there. Also, the trip to North Carolina before they get into Big East play.
Quad one wins are the most important thing right now for high majors. You've got Maryland on the road, Clemson, Dayton, possibly BYU. Obviously, you see on this schedule, we're going to UNC on the 7th are the Hoyas. Home versus Savior, so quad one opportunities, improve your metrics, get high quality wins in the non-conference, so important.
And the Hoyas got off to that great 3-0 start last year. Pat caught up to them, and also the injuries caught up to them. As tough defense there by Lewis. Hoyas have numbers. Goes behind the back, and Abraham has it blocked by James. Here come the Bears. They've got the numbers. Bumpus takes it in. He has it blocked by Lewis. And now stolen back as Worrell's going to take the three and hit it. And a timeout called by Morgan State.
Ball ends up right to Worrell's hands. He lets it fly. Nice clean release after a frantic couple possessions there. As we take a look at Morgan State's upcoming schedule, Coach Brodus and crew, they're going to go to ODU, at DePaul, at Cal, at San Francisco, at LMU, and then obviously November 11th, though, at home. They got UMBC, but that West Coast trip, prior to Christmas, guaranteed games, they call them in college basketball. Morgan State plays, the school hosting pays them a check. They go out there and they try to shock the world on the West Coast. You see Cal in California is now part of the ACC, in case you didn't know, and then two WCC schools. I coached in that league at San Diego. San Francisco has a great program there. Chris Gerlofson, LMU led by Stan Johnson, longtime Marquette assistant coach, and Arizona State. Good defense, good press by Morgan State there.
And a foul on the Hoyas. And that's going to send Alvin to the line. So Ed Cooley trying to close this one out strong, and Morgan State with a little pressure of their own to force a couple turnovers by the Hoyas.
Keep fighting if you're Morgan State here. You've had a good showing. Obviously the first half, much better than the second half. These Hoyas really turned it on, though, defensively, giving the Bears nightmares. You see KJ Lewis, the way he glides and is able to get loose balls. It's just incredible to watch his athleticism in person, gliding.
Just kind of doing a bit of everything, just like Micah Peavy did last year. What a find by the Hoyas, as Fort will put it down with the contact from Alvin.
Did you see how he exploded? That low base, catches the ball, elevates with authority. Great leading pass into the post by his junior point guard, Mack, throwing it down. The St. John's College High School to Jackson Reed connection on full display there. Great post entry. You could tell the little things of basketball still excite me as a former / fired coach. Love seeing those little things.
And we kind of referenced it, how Ed Cooley said, you know, I really didn't want freshmen on the team this year because we had the red shirts. We had guys like Mulready who didn't really redshirt but didn't play that much due to injury and some other things. Fort, one of those guys, as he redshirted, and he looks ready to play this year, as Lewis will take it through and can't finish. Fort trying to put some more points on the board.
A really smart thing to do if you're Ed Cooley, right? You get some young bigs. You have Sorber in your front court already. You redshirt them. Obviously, Halle Fanua wasn't supposed to redshirt. He was playing, but he got hurt. But you look at this. This group looks like they're ready to go in the front court with plenty of miles left in the tank in their careers.
Again, some introspection by some of these guys, knowing that's probably what they saw with Thomas Sorber. They saw with Micah Peavy, some others, that development angle was be better for them to stick around the hilltop as opposed to saying, oh, let me go somewhere else. They knew they would be better players sitting a year than playing the year after.
Short-term and long-term development so important now in this portal era. As you see Lewis checking out for the final time, Mack and Abraham. But how you develop the talent who's young, and also how you develop players who are older with years of experience already, providing that opportunity for them to shine in their final stop in college, just so important in the whole entire college basketball landscape now. Because, folks, teams are losing 10, 11, 12 players a year now. It's regular. It is here to stay. Coach Cooley and staff keep a good core together. They get the right winning guys from the portal to add to their group, and they develop.
And Seal Diouf with his first collegiate point. And you have to love the fact that his teammates were that happy.
Love seeing that. But, you know, Coach Cooley has said to us multiple times now, this team has a togetherness that he loves. Obviously, he loves the talent. He loves the toughness. But they're really a united group. They've gone through a lot of basketball experiences already. We talked about summer school, going to Canada in August.
And he said that was big with the Canada trip.
Absolutely. You get extra days of practice leading up to Canada, right? So 10 extra days of full practice as opposed to the summer, which is only 4 hours a week with your team. You get that extra time. You travel together. Always fun to travel with your teammates. I still look back fondly as a coach and as a college manager of those trips you take with your team. They really bonded. They really have a great level of togetherness.
So winding this one down as Ed Cooley has emptied the bench. Mason Moses, Michael Van Raphorst out, and a tip-in by Harris.
Number 7, Marlon Harris tips it in.
Also, Austin Montgomery, the LSU transfer in. And the Hoyas break the pressure. And Diouf has it blocked at the rim. Nice play by Harris. And, you know, we focused on the Georgetown side of things, but Kevin Brodus, obviously, one thing he told us this week, Martin, was the fact that he thought this team really bought in on the defensive end. It wasn't defense optional with this group. It is they kind of come with the lunch pail, and they expect to guard. They expect to try and stop teams this year.
And that mentality, obviously, that means, one, you brought in the right young men to your program who can be coached, but then also from the top, demanding a certain level of excellence defensively, rebounding, competitively from your group day in, day out, and it helps excel the process of getting better when those two things are working together. Look out below.
Moses off the mark.
Good looking shot from Moses, though. Clean release. Getting an opportunity from long distance to put it in. Good kick ahead again. A huge theme tonight.
Sophomore from New York, and Brewster Academy. Lawson. Alvin will take the three-pointer, and he hits it.
3 points, number 55, Alvin.
So Morgan State will get it under 20. But the Hoyas will have the opening night win as Fort takes it, tries for the emphatic dunk on Harris. Ends up drawing the foul instead.
We are seeing the potential here in the second half. Jaden Fort from the area, DMV kid. You see the strength, the improved body from his high school days, the value of that redshirt season. You see the athleticism, the aggression. You see this free throw form. Looks clean, swish. I cannot wait to see where this young man is in the heart of Big East play. If he keeps this up, this young man is heavy in the rotation as a redshirt freshman.
Good for that physicality and athleticism, and Fort seems like a customer ready to bring it. Yes, Moses is going to pick up the foul.
Hoyas foul, number 22, Mason Moses. It's his first. 2 shots for Morgan State.
So Lawson will have a chance to add to his game-high 18 points. And he does. Again, Morgan State up against Central Pennsylvania on Thursday. Then a big game, local rivalry against UMBC. Next Tuesday, Georgetown's got a big one on Friday against Maryland as Lawson hits 2. Not a bad way to start if you're the Hoyas. Pulling away in the second half of this one. As Fort off to Youth, takes it in. He'll be fouled as Harris will help him up. And so Seal will have a chance to add a couple more.
2 shots for Georgetown.
Seal from the Netherlands. As can't get the first one to go. As Ed Cooley said, maybe our most physical 5-man, but just young. So as he matures, he is going to, I think he'd be a heck of a player for Ed Cooley. Under 20 seconds to go. Breon Barnett into the game. Bumpus will take the 3, and he won't hit it, but he'll head to the line as the freshman will have 3 chances to score his first collegiate points. Bumpus, two-time All-Met out of Friendship Tech Prep Academy. Nickname of Hollywood. And has a twin brother named Daniel. And they say that their grandfather, their biggest sports influence, as he trained them both from a young age. And Bumpus, like many folks his age, enjoys making TikToks. And there's the point. So David Bumpus with his first collegiate points right there. Georgetown, no field goals in the last 2:49. It's close to when Ed Cooley pulled the starters. So the Hoyas will win by opening night. Ed Cooley's group putting up 87, and the Hoyas open the campaign with a victory, 87-70. KJ Lewis, Georgetown's leading scorer with 14 points, had 5 rebounds as well. Blake Mack with 11. Deshaun Harris-Smith had 10. Isaiah Abraham and Caleb Williams both with 9 apiece. Rob Lawson, your leading scorer in this one, he had 20 points. Worrell, he ended up with 14. Georgetown scoring 87 despite shooting just 15% from three-point land. Ed Cooley and his group will have to pick that up as they advance through the year, but always better to coach off a win than a loss. So we'll be catching up with a few folks from the Hoyas after this one's done. 16 turnovers forced by the Hoyas in this one. Georgetown only turned it over 7 times. So Georgetown with the 87-70 win. And Martin Bahar standing by. He's going to check in with KJ Lewis. And Hoyas win it by 17 points. And KJ Lewis, a big day. And we'll throw it to Martin Bahar.
KJ, great game tonight. You obviously come from winning, an Arizona transfer. What excites you most tonight? Only 7 turnovers, or was it the 22 steals and blocks?
It was just all around, the team effort. The whole point in the offseason was to be a physical defensive team and to push our pace in transition. I think we did that today.
You guys look tremendous defensively and offensively. What do you love the most about this group of guys? You can feel a positive energy and a cohesion.
For sure. It's great to be around a group of guys who all have, one goal in mind, who are competitive and who all love to hoop. Being around this group, everybody competes at a high level, and you got Coach Cooley who brings the energy every day, and it's hard for it not to trickle down through the whole program.
What a debut. Congratulations to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Back to you, Jeremy. The Hoyas win.
Thank you much, Martin. As that'll wrap it up from our nation's capital. KJ Lewis with a nice Hoya debut as he scores 14 points, perfect at the foul line, as he keyed a Hoya defensive effort that turned Morgan State over 16 times. Blake Mack also in double figures, as was Deshaun Harris-Smith. Next Hoya broadcast on ESPN Plus will be against Binghamton on November the 12th. So for Martin Behar, I'm Jeremy Huber saying so long from Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. Again, your final score, Georgetown 87, Morgan State 70. All games airing on the ESPN Network are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.